Hello everybody and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 fantasy football running backs for this year of fantasy football. Now, these running backs will be in half point per reception. Not that's going to make much of a difference for a running back, but you tend to consider that no matter what's happening or what position you're ever playing. So let's get right into it, starting with number 10. Antonio Gibson. Now, this may come as a shock to many people because Antonio Gibson is a sophomore. He didn't have the greatest season last year. He had 795 yards, which isn't outstanding, but he only played 14 games because he was hurt. And also, for the beginning of the year, he didn't really touch the ball very much because they had J.D. McKissick as their main guy. You know, they were just kind of letting him settle into the offense. But this year, when he's the top guy and he's going to be getting all the carries, he's going to be a lot more productive. So I'm predicting at least 1,100 yards this year. He also had 11 touchdowns last year in 14 games. That's pretty good. I'm expecting more than that this year as well. So for number 10, Antonio Gibson, who you can get at the end of the first round in your draft, is a very good choice in my mind. Also, he's got Ryan Fitzpatrick as a quarterback and Taylor Heineke. Those guys, as they're not bad, but they're not the greatest. So they will be relying on their run game a little bit too, like they did last year as well. Their run game and their defense. All right, on to number 9, we have Ezekiel Elliott. Now, this comes as a shock considering Ezekiel Elliott probably would have been ranked number 1 3 years ago. But his play quality just has not been up there since then. And just really disappointing all around. He had many fumbles last year, which is a loss of a lot of points. Also, he's turning the ball over a lot, which is not good. He had 900 yards only, so he didn't even break that 1,000-yard mark. 6 touchdowns, not good. And to make matters even worse, his backup, Tony Pollard, is starting to look better and better and better every game that goes on. And if you take a look at his stats, he's slowly regressed every year. He's slowly gotten worse every single year, to the point where you gotta assume that next year he's gonna be even worse. That's why I'm putting him number 9, because even though he's getting worse, he's still not bad running back by any stretch of the imagination. He's still Ezekiel Elliott. He's still good, but he's just not like the old Ezekiel Elliott. Number 8, I have Cam Akers. Now, Cam Akers wasn't very much of a threat for most of last year, but at the end of the year, he really emerged as a top running back. For the beginning of the year, he didn't get very many carries, and on top of that, he was also injured for a little bit. And that's because they had that other running back in there, Brown. I forgot his full name. But yeah, he was sharing a lot of carries there, but now he's the number 1 guy. And even though they got Matt Stafford he's getting old, and you can't run a team successfully without the running game. He's going to be the number 1 guy. He's going to get all the carries. He looked really good in the postseason of last year. That's why I'm putting him number 8. I feel like he could be a breakout star this year. All right, number 7, I got Aaron Jones for the Green Bay Packers. He's definitely the number 1 guy now, considering Jamal Williams has left Green Bay. And we still are unsure with Aaron Rodgers whether or not he's going to go there, even though as the days go on, it looks more and more like he's going to stay in Green Bay. We're not completely dead set for sure yet. But Aaron Jones, to look at his stats, he had 1,100 yards last year and 9 touchdowns, which is very good considering everybody thought he would have taken a big step back this year from the year before. He didn't. He's still looking like a great running back. Perfect guy for the middle of the first round. Number 7, Aaron Jones. Definitely taking him there if he falls to me. And number 6, this is going to be a shock to a lot of people. I got Saquon Barkley. Now, most people would expect Saquon Barkley in at least the top 4. But he's been injured. We haven't seen him all year, and with injuries, you just do not know what's going to happen. And to top it off, they've added a lot of pass catchers to that offense, especially Kenny Golladay, and that offense is looking really smooth in the pass game as well. So they're going to be leaning on that a little bit more than they did 2 years ago when he used to play. He still is a top running back, and if he does not have any injury risks or re-injury, because that happens a lot, especially in the running back position because you're up in the trenches a lot, then he will be a top 3 running back, but I got him in number 6 here, just because it's safe to keep him that far back. And as well, the people in front of him deserve to be in front of him too, because he hasn't played for a whole year, and these guys did, and these guys proved something. Number 5, Nick Chubb. Now, Nick Chubb is an amazing running back. He's got true talent, and the best part about it is his offense is by far a run-first offense. They ground and pound. They are an old-school offense that likes to run the ball. They got 2 running backs, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And even though they got 2 great running backs, they are still able to put up numbers, both those running backs. Nick Chubb is the number 1 guy there. He's the number 1 guy in that rushing offense, and even though he will be splitting carries just a bit, I still believe he's going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with if he doesn't get injured this year. And another good thing is that he really has a lot of explosive, long yardage plays almost every week now. And that's very good to have on your team if you're looking for a comeback. You've always got that threat. All right, number 4, we got CMC. He was by far the best running back 2 years ago, but he didn't play last year. So even though he's such an amazing running back, he came off of a really bad injury. And like I said with Saquon Barkley, as a running back, you never know if they're going to get re-injured again or if their play is just going to be a lot sloppier. Because running backs can easily their play quality can go down drastically over the time of one injury. So if his play quality goes down, then he will not be a top running back anymore. But just because he was so good 2 years ago, he's going number 4 on this list. And number 3, we got Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara last year, he surprised me a lot. I thought he was not going to be that good. He was really a force last year. He had 940 rushing yards last season. He also had a couple hundred receiving yards, I'm pretty sure, on top of that as well, which is good if you're thinking about a half point per reception league. He is also a receiving running back, which just adds that little bit on top of there. He's by far the number 1 guy in New Orleans. He had 16 touchdowns last year, which is a lot of points in touchdowns. And that's almost a touchdown a game. It is a touchdown a game. So you can count on that this year from Alvin Kamara. He's always a steady guy, hardly gets injured. He's consistent every week, putting up 15, 20 points. You can always rely on him to be that anchor of your team. Alvin Kamara, 3rd. That's who I have. Number 2, Dalvin Cook. Also a great all-around running back. Minnesota likes to do a lot of screens. Even though Dalvin Cook's not a, receiving back, he can receive the ball, and they do use him in screens a lot, so that's good for half point per reception. But the big thing about this guy is he had 1,500 rushing yards last year and 16 touchdowns. That's outstanding for any running back. Outstanding for any running back. This guy, he wasn't injured. He will put up points. Like, how I said Alvin Kamara was consistent? Well, if there's anything above being overly consistent, it's Dalvin Cook. This guy will never fail. Every week, he'll put up 15 to 20 to 25 points a week for your team. Every week, you can rely on this guy. That's why he's 2nd best. He's amazing running back, though. Absolutely outstanding running back. And he gets a lot of attention in that Minnesota offense, which is a big running offense as well. And then number 1, we got King Derrick Henry himself. He is, right now, the best running back in the league. Even after I just hyped up Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara that much, because they are that good, this guy is by far number 1 in the league. He is the focal point of that offense. Every play is around Derrick Henry. It's either a running play or a play-action pass play. And the only way you can establish the play-action game is if you have a running game. So they will hand the ball off to Derrick Henry at least 20 times every game. He will get consistent points. And to look at his stats, he had over 2,000 rushing yards last year. One of the top 10 best seasons for a running back of all time, in my opinion. And statistically, it is. He also had 17 touchdowns last year. He dominates the field. Defenses are scared of him. They game plan around him, but they cannot get him. He will destroy fantasy football. If you have this guy on your team, if you're the first overall pick, you got to choose Derrick Henry. He will benefit your team every week for the better. Well, after that short rant, I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. If you did like it, then leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one. Thanks.